Hello YouTubers, so as you can tell, it's really excellent. I'm really quite stunned, quite frankly. It's definitely as advertised. And, you know, I'd read that they said, well, it's good for practice, but, you know, you may not be able to gig with it. And I tend to disagree, I think for me anyway. I'd be perfectly happy to gig with a Fender Rumble 40 for smaller places like coffee houses, of course, and small stages, you know. And if you really needed to, there's an XLR out, which is a direct out. You could send to the board or what have you. But as far as miking it, you know, and using it as a monitor on stage, is perfectly loud for that. You know, so I'm really, really pleased with it. Now those crossover boxes, you know, split the signal into a high signal, a guitar signal, and a bass signal. And since you're playing in stereo, you've got two of them, so in theory you could use two bass amps if you wanted to. Though I've often found that one bass amp does the job just fine. And it'll be great for late night playing, you know, those bass amps, especially the big ones. You know, those bass waves tend to travel through walls and those kinds of things. So having a small one and still getting that deep bass tone, the real plus. And not only that, it makes me think about other Fender Rumble bass amps because of their weight, but also their sound quality. And I mean, they have, besides the 40 watt, they have the 100 watt, the 200 watt, a 500 watt. I even think they have an 800 watt, which would be quite crazy. And I already had a Fender Rumble 15-inch cabinet, which I really like as well. So the Fender Rumble series of bass amps is really great. And I was afraid that the 40 watt would be kind of like the Dean Bass Hola, where it was kind of more of a practice amp. But I found that that's not the case here at all. Yeah, just super. Super. And you have to remember, a lot of times, you know, amps I bring on stage are just two little Fender Super Champs, you know, with 10-inch speakers. So it would match those perfectly as far as the bass amp goes. Alright, wanted to show you that. And if you've been considering a bass amp for whatever reason, definitely the Fender Rumble series is definitely the way to go. At least this has been my experience thus far with the Fender Rumble 40. Alright, very good. See you next time. Okay, bye. Okay, guys. So, I went looking around just locally, see what was available. And, boy, there wasn't much, I'll tell you that much. However, there was a guy selling a Fender Rumble 40 bass amp, along with a bass guitar, right? And I have no use for a bass guitar. So I went ahead and messaged him and said, hey, would you sell me just the amp? That way I'd have 2 Rumble 40s, right? And I could certainly use them. A buddy of mine said, man, why do you always buy things in 2s? And he's right, I do. Mostly to play in stereo, and the fact that my crossovers allow me, you know, 1 bass amp on the left side, 1 bass amp on the right side. But besides that, I can also use them in my studio room. You know, I have my living room studio, and then I have an actual studio room. So depending on where I'm recording at, right? And I'll tell you, it sure beats having 2 amps rather than having to take an amp and move it, you know, and move your whole setup from one room to the other. And this is a pretty good deal. Basically, it's about $200 or so. Which is okay considering there's no tax, no shipping, or anything like that. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a fair price. The amp seems to be in great condition. And we'll find out here in a few minutes. So I'm on my way to the designated meeting place. Right? Yeah, it should be great. It'll be super. And man, I tried the one I got from Guitar Center. It's just fantastic. So, yeah, I really like that amp. Man, I tried my Dean Basola and tried to compare it, and it was so sad. My God. I mean, for real, I had to max out the Dean Basola amp just to see if it would work at all, you know, let alone get a bass tone out of it. You know, I think a lot of that has to do with the speaker, I'm assuming. You know. And I just sold a mixer, so the mixer will pretty much pay for this Fender Rumble 40. Wow, what a morning, though. Holy smokes. He wanted to meet pretty early because I guess he has to go up to Indianapolis today, so about 10 a.m. or so. Man, that's early for me. Alright, I'll try to find him here. And we'll see what happens. Alright, let's see ya. Alright. Mission accomplished. I picked up the amp. Looked to be in fine condition. I suppose one thing is the logo, the Fender logo, which is plastic, by the way, so no big deal, is the F on the Fender part, it was broken a little bit. Not a big deal though, really. I mean, I don't mind that at all. And yeah, it's a little Fender 40, so that's pretty cool. And I mean, put 2 of those together, well, you've got 80 watts and a 2x10, right? That's the idea anyway. So I think that would work out great for me. You know, I don't know, you never know on these things, you know, if it's a good idea, a bad idea, if it'll work for you or not. But from every indication, especially playing the one from Guitar Center last night. Man, I really like that amp. You know, and for the weight of it, it's just crazy. You know, I don't know. I read somewhere that it was like 21 pounds instead of 18. Whatever. It's light. Let's put it that way. You know, light enough anyway. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I don't know. Still though, I have those heart keys, you know, and I mean, they sound great too. It's kind of a different sound though. And the problem is both of them are huge and heavy. You know, I mean, they could be heavier, I guess. One of them's on casters, so maybe try to move one of those out. I don't know. Now here's the thing: the Fender Rumble 40s. They have on the back. They have an aux input, headphone thing, but more importantly, a direct out to go to a PA board. But the one thing it doesn't have, and that is an external speaker out. In other words, if I wanted to use a cabinet with one of those little Fender Rumbles, you know, for example, the 15-inch Fender cabinet, which is 8 ohms, and the speaker inside the Fender Rumble is 8 ohms as well. However, there's no speaker out. However, I think this is a modification that can be easily accomplished. In fact, there was a YouTuber who added an external speaker jack to his Boss Katana, and this would be kind of the same idea. You would just add a jack, you know, in between the speaker and the amplifier. You know, the wire that goes to the speaker, you would basically cut it there and add the jack. Now, ideally you would want it so that it would disconnect the internal speaker, and so that you could run an external speaker with it. So it's not really meant to add another speaker cabinet, because then your ohms wattage would be totally out of whack, you know, if that makes sense. So but we'll see. So that might be something I'd want to do on both of them, in case I want to use a different speaker cabinet. I mean, that makes sense to me. And right now, that would be the Fender Rumble 15-inch cabinet, or I also have this purple 1x12 cabinet, bass cabinet. So I could use either of those if I did this modification. And I think it can be done fairly easily and not do any damage to the amps at all. You know, so that's something I was thinking about. But boy, this went so fast. Going from one Rumble 40 to two. You know, I wasn't expecting that, obviously. And I hope I made the right decision. I really think I did. You know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I really love these amps. Okay, now there's been a few developments. As you'll remember, this morning I picked up a second Fender Rumble 40. And I got it home, was all ready to test out what two Rumble 40s would be like. And guess what? The one I got from Guitar Center the day before, mailed to me, it died. It just, no volume, no gain, no nothing. So that was really disappointing, you know. Now, I don't know if they went in there and had repaired the power amp section or something, I don't know. So I'm getting that one returned. Okay, they're just going to give me a refund on that one. Okay, and then I tested the one I bought locally, and it's working great. And so what I did is I went ahead and ordered a new one, right? Because it really scared me that I got to use one and it died within a day. You know, it makes me question the reliability of these amps. You know, and that really worries me. And as it turns out, I can return that one as well. I have 45 days. The reason being is the place I ordered it from only offers the manufacturer's warranty, which is basically through Fender. And I'm not sure that that's a very good warranty, you know, dealing with Fender directly. I'm not sure of that. Whereas they were trying to tempt me to go with Sweetwater, which offers an in-house 2-year warranty, right? That may be a lot better. However, in the meantime, a friend asked me, well, were you running them really hard or something? And I personally didn't think so. I had the gain and volume at halfway. You know, it should be able to handle that no problems. However, then it dawned on me that maybe I should go with a more powerful version, like the Fender Rumble 100 watt, or even the 200 watt, or even the 500 watt. So that's got me thinking of what to do here. Kind of a precarious situation that I didn't ever expect to find myself in. You know, I thought I'd have 2 Fender Rumble 40s, but it turns out I have 1. And 1 on the way, and 1 being returned. So that's something I'm really going to have to think about and see what I can work out, and, you know, see if maybe I do need a more powerful amp that maybe I wouldn't push as hard, maybe, you know, instead of a 40 watt, at least 100 watt, you know, or up to the 500 watt combo, or an amp head, you know, to go with my cabinets. Alright. Still though, I really love the little Rumble 40. I think it's a really great amp as long as it doesn't blow up on me. Personally, I really think that the Rumble 40 is fine, and the one I was sent had a problem already and had been repaired or something like that. Or usually, people try to pawn off their broken gear on Guitar Center, which really sucks for everyone else when they try to turn around and resell it, obviously. So that's where I'm at right now regarding that. So we shall see. So this will be a part 1. And when I get things more resolved, we'll go to part 2. Alright, very good. See you next time. Okay, bye.